Today we're going to discuss the secrets of statutory law. This is part 2, the definitions, and it is presented to the American people on or about 23 March, the year 13, after Bitcoin. In the first part of this series, we discussed how to read the statute. In this part, we're going to learn about the terms defined, and finally, in part 3, we'll discuss the meaning of terms not defined. It is said that the beginning of wisdom is the definition of terms, and that is also a statutory secret. That is to say, when a statute includes an explicit definition, we must follow that definition, even if it varies from that term's ordinary meaning. Let's begin by defining the definitions. The statutes define the definitions using includes definitions, means definitions, compound definitions, implied definitions, tautological definitions, non-definitions, and also an as-used-in clause, which provides limits and consequences to the words defined. The first is the includes and including definitions, but includes generally means that it excludes unstated meanings of that term. The bottom line is, includes generally excludes. That is, inclusio unis est exclusio alteris. The inclusion of one is the exclusion of the other. Let us do an example of that. So, in the tax laws, the term United States includes only the states and the District of Columbia, and also the term state shall include the District of Columbia, which really means that the United States is only the District of Columbia. Of course, many of you who are new to this channel may not be convinced of that. So let's take a look at the history books. In 1939, the time before the incorporation of Alaska and Hawaii, in the same code, the term state included Alaska, Hawaii, as well as the District of Columbia, and the term United States also included Alaska, Hawaii, and the District of Columbia. It is only after Alaska and Hawaii were incorporated into the Union States that they no longer made this list. Now let's look at the means definition. Means. Where means is employed, the term and its definition are to be interchangeable equivalents. The term net earnings from self-employment means the gross income derived from any trade or business. Trade or business. A trade or business includes the performance of the functions of a public office. Which brings us to the next definition, which is called the compound definition. So we already know that the term net earnings from self-employment means the gross income from any trade or business, and we also know that the term trade or business includes the performance of the functions of a public office. What do you think net earnings from self-employment means? The term net earnings from self-employment means the gross income derived from the performance of the functions of a public office. Bringing us to the next definition, which is the implied definitions. For example, if the net earnings from self-employment means the gross income derived from the performance of the functions of a public office, then what does that make gross income? Well, gross income would be income derived from a public office. Section 61 gross income is income derived from a public office, which also means government income, which means federal income. It is the taxable income. If gross income equals federal income equals taxable income, then what is the term federal income tax? Is it the federal tax on income, or is it the tax on federal income? The federal income tax is the tax on federal income, not the federal tax on income. Let's move to the nonsense definitions. For example, a tautology. A tautology is one that involves circular logic. For example, the term tax imposed. There is hereby imposed on the taxable income a tax. Same thing as a definition of a taxpayer, which is any person who is subject to any internal revenue tax. They don't tell you anything. They're just playing games with you. Now let's look at the non-definitions. The non-definition for non-resident alien is an individual who is neither a citizen of the United States nor a resident of the United States. It is a nonsense definition because it is basically telling you what a non-resident alien is not. It is not telling you what a non-resident alien is. Why do nonsense definitions exist? Well, basically they're to confuse you. And they're also tempting you to claim that you're not a taxpayer or you are a non-resident alien. And because those things cannot be proven since they are negatives, they are set up to fail. Now let's look at the as used in clause. The as used in clause limits statutory definitions to a specific portion of the statute. That is, words of universal scope mean only those subject to the legislation. As used in the tax code, the United States is the same as the states, is the same as the District of Columbia. That is only for the tax code. That's Title 26. And this is congruent or compatible with the United States Constitution at Article 4, rules and regulations respecting the property belonging to the United States. Now let's look at another statutory secret. Generally, statutory definitions and therefore its control over subject matter is limited to property belonging to the United States or the use of a privilege under the control of government, in other words, commerce. For example, the following words are defined by their commercial implications, including motor vehicles, residential property, firearm, and dog. Motor vehicle is defined explicitly for commercial purposes, for a profit, and to be used in a business. Residential property is property that includes rooming houses and bed and breakfast homes in Massachusetts. Now those are businesses. That's why when you get a residential property tax, it is an excise on the privilege of doing a business. A firearm is defined with respect to its involvement in commerce, and those commercial activities include carrying a firearm for hire, such as a police officer and also as private security guards, watchmen, and private investigators. If you look at the background check requirement for the license to carry, is considered a professional license. The background check is only for applicants for employment, volunteer positions, or professional licensing. See 803 CMR 2.01 paragraph 1. Compare the term firearm with the term in Mass General Laws 62C55A, and you will find the term arms for personal use, and that is not a firearm. So you probably don't have a firearm unless you're a police officer or a security guard. Guess what? You probably don't even have a dog, and the reason for that is because dogs are referenced by the hunting regulations or treated as dangerous dogs. So unless your dog is dangerous or unless you use it for hunting, which is a commercial activity, you don't have a dog. And that is why you need a dog license, because it is presumptively a commercial license, like all these things here. So let's summarize the Part 2 statutory secrets. 1. Definitions must be followed, even if it varies from that term's ordinary meaning. 2. Includes generally excludes. 3. Every definition as used in the statute mean only those subject to the legislation. Generally, that means property belonging to the United States or a commercial activity. Thank you for watching. Share the truth, for the truth shall set us free. If you have a difficult question or a video request, please send Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, or Dash, which is digital cash. And here's my email. Again, I am grateful for your audience, and thank you very much.